Hello, everyone. Good day and happy Flying Friday. Yay, we got to Friday again. Thank you guys so much for being here. I highly appreciate each and every one of you that is here. And yesterday, because the recording future is not given to me because I'm not paying for this version of StreamYard yet. There are people there yesterday. Brother Levy was the very first person there. Thank you so much, Brother Levy. I didn't intend to bring you there, but being there, I realized that a lot of you are investing your heart, your soul, and everything into one global movement. That is why when you even just see the notification, you're right there. And thank you guys so much, those of you who were there yesterday, and those of you who are going to watch later on. That was the Christmas and New Year speech. And I'm going to continue until the end of the month and even after that. So thank you guys so much. And today we're going to close a little early because I have to travel out of state for my son's graduation. The weather is not good. A lot of people's flight tickets have been canceled that were supposed to be here. So we're going to leave early. And from now henceforth, we're going to be doing the show for 30 minutes. Beginning next year when we do the flyers, or even before next year. So we practice. So we do that so that we can focus more on action, the action on ground, and do more. So thank you guys so much. And today we are in One Global Movement Revolution, part 395. We keep climbing. Authenticity under pressure. Authenticity under pressure. Authenticity means the real thing, the natural thing, being you. Helping Generation Z, navigate social media stress. And I know that I have a Gen Z who is graduating tomorrow. So this topic is so important for me and all of us here, especially as we are the servants of these young people around the globe. And so, who are you when no one is watching? That is a very big question to start with. Who are you when no one is watching you? And who are you trying to be when everyone is watching you? And this question doesn't just apply to the Generation Z or the Gen Zs, but to all of us. Who are you when no one is watching you? Who are you? What are those moments that you think that nobody's watching you? What are you doing? And who are you becoming in that moment? And who are you trying to be when everyone is watching you? You're trying to bluff, to show off, to say, look at me, or to attract attention, or you're just trying to be you? These questions are supposed to be answered by all of us here. And and who have you become for this year? As we get to the end of the year, we're not just counting another year, but who have you become? And who are you going to keep becoming? And who have you planned to become in this coming year? Remember, time waits for no one. Time waits for no one. We got to do what we have to do right now with what we have, because time does not wait for us and we don't know our tomorrow. That is why we always say here that we want to empty out ourselves. Whether God has given you that opportunity to do it right now or today, you want to do the very best and ask yourself and really feel it that you've actually done it. This is very important. This is a silent battle of this generation. That is a battle that they are fighting. Who are you becoming when no one is watching you? And who are you becoming when everyone is watching you? Remember attention. They say they diagnose a lot of our Gen Zs with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But is that for real? Are they supposed to be diagnosed with that? Why did they get to this point? And how did they get to this point? And it falls back on us, the parents and the adults. And remember, we all were children. We always like adventures. We want to know something. Why is it that mommy and daddy says I should not do this? Of course, we allow them experiment, but safely. But then when they experiment, they realize that it's not serving them. It doesn't match what we teach them at home. They will fall back onto those things. So we need to have all hands on deck on this. And so we live in a world where Generation Z is asked to be everything at once. Everything at once. Confident but humble. Bold but soft. Visible but perfect. present but performing. Performance is different from authenticity.
Yeah.
So social media gives them a stage, but not always a safe one. Is that true?
It is. Yeah.
Social media gives us, even us now. Some of us adults are also falling into the age of the Gen Zs without knowing that this social media is there as a tool, and it depends on how you use it. Just like God gave us all the choices of the world, but gave us rules and said, you choose. It is up to you to make that decision to choose the right thing so that in the end you don't blame anybody. And so, you know, social media gives them this very big stage, and sometimes it's very confusing, but not always a safe one. A voice, they gave them a voice, but not always the freedom to use it authentically.
Yeah.
Not the freedom to use it according to the way that God created them to be. Not to use it according to the way that God gave them their gift, according to the way that they understand this gift and the way they want to implement it. They don't let them, they set the rules. And when you do that, you're controlling. There is no freedom there. You want a child to be themselves, let them fail again. So long as they're not giving up and you keep encouraging them, they will fail, and failure comes with expenditure. Because some of us will say, oh, I don't have that money. Yes, you do. If you don't have that money, teach the skill in a different way. And you don't complain that you don't have. So you let that child do it. Don't prevent that child from doing those things. Let them experiment right there with you at home, so somebody else will not control their mind out there when they want to do those things. So you do it at home. So today we ask the question that demands courage. How do we help a generation stay real in a world that rewards pretending? You should ask, and we need to go back and watch this video. Very important, I'm telling you. And thank God that sister, you coined this topic so that we can talk about this topic towards the end of this year. This is very, very important, and we take it here seriously. How do we help a generation stay real to themselves in a world that rewards pretending? In a world that say, oh, look at this. I did this, I did this, I did that, I achieved this, I am this, I am that. A world that depends on titles, on medals. Do we eat medals? Do we eat titles? Do these children use those titles to do anything with it? Unless that title is turned authentically into something that will help them. This is very, very important. And so I will go by section. The pressure they carry. We all know the pressure that this Generation Z carry. Let us acknowledge the truth. If we don't acknowledge that, then we ourselves, we also carry that same pressure that we have not yet acknowledged that we carry that pressure. I carry the pressure, and I know that. Generation Z is not weak like we think. They are not weak. They are wounded by a world that sees only their output, not their battles.
Right.
This is what is happening. They navigate comparison culture, negative comparison, algorithm anxiety, digital perfectionism. They want to be perfect. Instead of being just you, you want to put this makeup, wear this dress like this so that they can see you in a particular way. Who are you deceiving? That is self-deception. And then digital perfectionism or online bullying. We've seen that. Online bullying all the time, emotional overload. Sometimes you hear them say, please, mommy, daddy, you talk too much. Can you cut it down one thing at a time? That means they are overloaded. And we cannot afford to keep doing that. Because when we push these things out, we have to check ourselves too. Because when you push some of these things on this Generation Z, we ourselves are overloaded. Now we turn to transfer that overload to these children that they don't deserve to have it. It's just like transfer aggression, and that is not good. And then imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, and I know that sister will talk about it better than me. Identity confusion. They confuse their identity, unrealistic beauty and success standards. You are here Oh, you are the lower class, the lower middle class, and the upper class. Who told you that? We need to really dismiss all those myths, because by creation, we were created equal. We were created by the same God to be equal. And listening to somebody reduce you to nothing is not worth it. Because who are you? Who are you becoming? Do you have to sit and wait for somebody to say, "Oh, what you're building is good," or "What you're building is not good," and then you start feeling bad? No. If you know who you are, you know who created you, you know where you're going with the purpose that you've been given, because we all have it, then nothing, absolutely nothing somebody can say that is going to do that. I know that a lot of damage has been done to families and children, and it's been done for a very long time. Remember, those that do that damage themselves, they are so inferior that they want to transfer that to other people.
Mm-hmm.
A child that has been bullied, what does that child do? The child would think that, you know what, bullying another child, that is the only way to go. They don't know better. But are you going to sit there and talk back or listen? No, you move forward and do the right thing, because that right thing is the best answer that you can give that person. And not long, they too will begin to say, "Oh, maybe something is going on that is good. Let me copy from this person." So unrealistic beauty, especially with our young girls that expose themselves a lot because they are seeking that kind of attention that is going to hurt them without knowing. So the pressure to be viral instead of valuable, and let this go viral instead of saying let this go valuable to the world. If we change these terms, we'll realize that, you know what, you yourself, you begin to feel so happy. And so beneath the filters, the captions, the curated images, there are hearts crying. And these hearts are the Generation Z. They are crying. Do I matter without performing? That's what a lot of Gen Zs are crying. Do I really matter without performing, without any kind of performance? Am I enough without pretending? They ask themselves this question because I've listened to them speak. Or some of them can even say, "Am I not handsome? Am I not beautiful? Are my clothes not good?" Because the world has made them to doubt themselves. And when you continuously pound this Generation Z with images on TV, social media handles, all around, on the streets corner and everywhere, that what else would they turn to? Eventually they will begin to think that way. But here in One Global Movement, we want to follow a different path. And this path is the best. It might be a little bit challenging because we've not known it. But when you do it, you begin to be happy with your own self. You begin to know that I have greatness within me. I am beautiful. I was created the way I am for a reason, and I'm going to embrace who I am without anybody messing around with my mind. And you will begin to be happy with yourself. That's what we need here. So, one global movement has that cry. What do they cry? The cost of performing for approval. Social media is not the problem. We know that it's not the problem. The pressure to perform is the problem. Remember, we say here social media is a tool. It is a good tool depending on how you use it. Social media is not a problem. It's you and I who are the problem that are putting ourselves and our children and these Gen Zs into problem. What is your language? What is the tone of your voice? What are you setting your eyes on when no one is watching you? What are you doing when your children are not around? Remember, you have that natural bond and connection between you and your children. Whatever you do in your children's absence or in their presence is still going to affect them because that is your blood. It's very important. And because we are now parents of the world, whatever we do is still going to affect these children. We're not just talking about biological parents here. So social media is not the problem. The pressure to perform for this Generation Z to perform is the problem. When likes replace love, can you imagine that? When likes are replacing love, when attention replaces belonging, Belonging. When digital applause becomes the measurement of identity. Look at me. They are clapping, they are putting all the emojis, they are doing this. So a generation begins to fracture when these things replace these very good ones, because performance builds the image, but authenticity builds the soul. The soul, excuse me, the inner you that nobody can see. That is what authenticity does. And where does authenticity comes from? From our creator. From creation, we were created. Remember, before you were formed in your mother's womb, your future was already written. And that future is one of greatness. We know that. Why can't we apply these things? You're already great the way you are. Walk with your shoulders high, not physical shoulders, those shoulders that come from within you. And before you know, your path will shine a light on this Generation Z's and all our children and the world. Why not? You know? And Generation Z is so tired of performing. My son sometimes say, Mommy, I'm not going to do that. Really, I'm not going to do that. That's not who I am. Okay? I'm giving an example. And I know so many of them have said that because I've been driving just to talk to young people, and they say that. And Generation Z is very, very tired. I'm telling you, psychologically, mentally, physically, emotionally, they are so tired. And let us ease this for them to believe in what we are doing here in One Global Movement, to spread the word, to take it. That's the easiest thing you can do. Do it in your community. And when you do it, tell another person to tell 5 people, another person to tell 5 people. Before you know, our method of communication here from person to person will sweep across the globe, reaching every home, every child, every young person, and every woman. And so they are longing for, what are they longing for? When they are so tired of what are they longing for? Safe spaces. Because without that safety, they can't do anything. Real community with real people, real resources, not fake. Honest conversations, not say, let me just listen so he can leave me alone or she can leave me alone. Honest conversations, conversations that come from truth, authentic conversations. Adults who listen, really sit there and stop, drop, and listen, like Sister Sharon says. Really, really listen. Even if your child is 50 years old, 60, 70, that's still your child. Or even the youth that you pass by in your community. Stop and listen. Hey, young man, hey, young lady, can I help? Can I be of help? And so a lot of times they will say no because they are ashamed, because the world has made them to be ashamed. You just keep watching to see how you can help. The moment you do that several times, because people want to be able to trust you, to know who you are, and if you are for real or you're just as fake as the other things or the other people. So they want to know that. So they want honest conversation, an adult who truly listen, and mentors. Because what we are doing here, we are mentors, we are servants, we are parents, we are everything here. Mentors who really guide them through their experiences and who are also willing to listen to your purpose and to guide you alongside your purpose without trying to change it to something else. We try to tell you to give it up for something else. Because whatever you have in you that you're doing, that is exactly who you were born to do, what you were born to do, and who you were born to be. So they want friends who care. In relationship, like marital relationship, the true love is really caring. True love at first sight, good, but it comes to when you start caring, to say, I need to care for my own partner, I need to care for my friends. This is very, very important. But care sometimes has a limit. When your life is at stake, I'm not saying that you should stick to danger, because you have to care. And so purpose that goes beyond the screen. The world is a digital world, but what we do with it, it should go beyond that screen. A calling they don't have to pretend for. Let them do what is inside of them. I used to try to persuade my son, like they used to tell me, go be a medical doctor, go be this. And I didn't want those things. But my first bachelor's degree was in that. But when I was sent to the United States now, I changed it totally because I had the opportunity to do so. So let us leave them change their mind, because we need to change our mind several times without somebody say, oh, but you said this, but why are you doing this? You're making that person feel guilty. Let the person
Mm-hmm.
change their mind, because remember, God says when this thing is not working, now you can change it to do another one. Sister, can you just pick up from there? Let me answer this call, okay?
Okay, so two things I want to point out about Gen Zers is that um, they are very good at picking up on the fakery and the hypocrisy and the inauthenticity that probably came from the generation before themselves. And the difference with them is that they don't just shut up and go away, they challenge that. They can challenge it in a respectful way, and there's nothing wrong with that because the generation, for instance, where I come from, it was like you were being disrespectful if you challenged your elders. You were not, even if they were saying or doing something that you knew was wrong or you didn't agree with, you had nowhere to go with that. Nowadays, thankfully, there is that, but unfortunately, it's still mostly on social media that they go for this validation. And that is not really a good place because it doesn't get resolved. And the people that you live with, the people that are in your apartments with you, your houses with you, those are the people that you want to collaborate with and to get your support from, because social media is not always a helpful place in the sense that they like to fuel outrage and anger, and then that does not really solve an issue. So in 2025, authenticity has shifted from a buzzword to a psychological necessity for Gen Z, as Sister Mundih was saying. And as they navigate an environment saturated with AI generated content and deep fakes and relentless peer pressure, as she said, do this way, and the groups and the echo chambers, helping Gen Z to develop the skill of authenticity involves moving beyond performing, as she said, a perfect image towards a more raw, unedited presence that mirrors real life experiences. None of us really look that perfect as some of us are seeing on the screen. It's not happening. So this is a pressure that the Gen Zers suffer from. Go ahead, sister, please.
Yes, thank you so much. Sorry, guys, I had to take this call. Very important. As we are
Mhm.
traveling, a lot of people are calling in, so that's fine. And now, what Generation Z really needs, and we need to really pay attention to this. What do they really need? One global movement believes that every child and young person is a seed. Do you know that these Generation Zs are our assets and assets to the world? They are very important assets. Without them, there will be no society. Without them, there will be no building, no innovations, no creation, no nothing without them. And so, you know, we can we believe that every child is a seed. A young person is a seed, not yet fully sin from birth. They are seeds that have not yet fully sinned, but absolutely full of greatness. And this is so true because we were at that point too. Social media may confuse their identity, but one global movement speaks to their core. We are speaking to their core so that they don't sit there and get confused. And we want them to run to one global movement, not for any reason, but because we want to help. And they are going to not just sit there and listen, because they will be bringing all this, their knowledge and their gifts and their greatness. And along the way, they will be also helping us so that we can help them even better and help the whole world, you know? So you are not your followers. We want to tell them that they are not their followers. They are not numbers. You are not your lowest moment. You are not your online image. We want them to know this thing. And we also have to let ourselves know, because when we tell them without doing it ourselves, then they're not going to be able to understand. Because we all learn by example? We learn, like a lot of, like me, I am a kinesthetic learner. If I don't see it being done, it's so hard for me to understand quickly. So I always like to do things, you know. So one global movement empowers the Generation Z by giving them, number one, emotional education. Emotional education is very, very important. So they can understand what they feel instead of drowning in it. Don't say, oh, you're too weak. Oh, you're a man. Be a man. You're too weak. Why you feel? Why are you crying? Why are you doing that? We don't when you say that, you put their emotions down, and then what have you done? You have put fear in them, you have put low self-esteem in them, because you won't allow them to really share and really feel and live what they are feeling. I am somebody that by nature, emotionally, I withdraw, not because I hate somebody, not because I don't forgive people. When things don't go the way that is supposed to, that I know, I I just withdraw without even knowing what I'm doing. Okay, but not that I will not speak to the person. I will speak. So number two, real community. So these Gen Z, they have belonging beyond the internet. Let us tell them, you belong more than the internet. You belong to what you are creating, to what you're building. You belong to volunteerism. You belong to what you have learned. You belong to building something that will come back to help your community. You belong to the library to read to those young people that are there. You belong to be a big brother or a big sister, truly authentic big brother or big sister to somebody that is struggling. You belong to share that knowledge in school, that you can take your notes or what you are building, the projects in school, and now you create something positive online and you start teaching and sharing that knowledge with other people. They can do that because they are too smart. And then, leadership development. So they become creators. Remember, we are co-creators with Almighty God, not casualties of digital world. We have seen here before, we showed young children as young as 5, 6, and 7 really threatening and fighting with their parents because they took the iPad away. How did that iPad, first of all, or phone, got into the hands of a 5-year-old? Is that a toy? Aren't they supposed to be playing with their letters and their numbers that have been put somewhere, or create a very educational environment for them? So we are the cause of most of the problem. It has to start from day one. When that baby comes out of your stomach, or well, whether you're a man or a woman, that baby, it's both of you coming out of you guys' stomach, because that baby didn't get to the woman alone. Now, what are you telling? What are you prophesying? What prayer are you offering? That moment that they bring that baby out and place it in your wife's hand, what are you saying? Is what is that child is going to carry throughout, and it works. And then safe mentorship. So these Gen Z know who they are before the world tells them who to be. We need to do that before the world tells them who to be. And global impact opportunities. So they channel their creativity into change, not comparison. Very important. And so, how do we help them build digital resilience? This is very important as well. One Global Movement teaches digital resilience through 4 pillars. Self identity, which we've been talking all through here, sister, for more than a year, right? Self identity, knowing your truth before the world tries to rewrite it. Are we teaching our children to know the truth? We know that we've gone through a lot, that sometimes it can really dampen our minds to think the right way. But we can still pick those pieces up and stitch them together, because when you do it for yourself, you're also doing it for the people that cause challenges to those children. Maybe they're the bullies in school, maybe whatever it is. Maybe it's from home too. So we need to try to do that. And boundaries, choosing when to be seen and when to rest. Boundaries is very important. Even me, sometimes I had to call. I say, no, Mundih, you got to rest now. You got to set this aside, because if you don't rest, you hurt yourself. You can't continue to do what you're doing. This is very important. Discernment. I know that sister has talked here a lot about discernment. Discernment, knowing what to take in and what to release. Say, no, this is not for me. I will let it go. You can't have everything. Maybe you're thinking that, oh, I have to do this quickly so I can get to that $1 million. But if your soul is not clean, it's not authentic, getting to that $1 million, it's going to hurt you even further. It's not going to do any good to you. And so, knowing what to take in and what to release and purpose, understanding that your platform, which starts with you, is a tool, not your worth. Not your worth.
Mhm.
Yes, this is very important. It's a tool, and you need to know how you use it. So, one global movement says when identity is rooted, pressure cannot uproot them. When these kids' identity is rooted in authenticity, in the truth of knowing who they are, knowing what they were created to be, knowing why they were created in the first place, and knowing where they are going, you know what? Pressure, social media pressure can never uproot this kind of authenticity. This is very important. So the call to protect this generation and beyond, because look at what they are going through health wise. If we don't protect them, do you know what is going to happen to the next generation? It's going to be generation, is it generation alpha or whatever it's going to be? We don't know, and we want to start it right now. We start talking to the young mothers. That's why we're going to form this, the Womb of Humanity group, so that we can bring these young women in and we start discussing all of these conversations with them, so that when they are having this baby or they're thinking about having the baby, what plans do they have in place? Who are they having these babies? We're not monitoring people, but we're just teaching so that people can hopefully choose for the better. So we cannot afford to lose our future leaders to digital exhaustion. We cannot. We cannot. Or emotional collapse. A lot of them are collapsing emotionally and we're not paying attention. But sometimes when my son cries, Mommy, Mommy, please, I need to think. I need to think. Sometimes I say, but why are you always saying I need to think? But then I told myself, you know what? Let me let him think. He's a good boy. He's doing well. Why can't I let him think for himself and be himself? This is very important. They are our children, but they are not our property. They are the property of the one that created them, like Sister always says here. Very, very important.
Yeah.
So the world needs their creativity, it needs their innovation, courage, compassion, and brilliance. They were born for more than screens. They were born for a purpose. One global movement stands as a global shield, a global family, a global voice saying, you are not alone. Reach out. Reach out to any of us here. Reach out to this organization. That is why this organization is formed for you. We are servants here. We are not the directors or the principal or the whatever. We are not. We are servants here. Parent servants serving children around the world. So you're not alone. Don't go and couch yourself and say, well, they didn't help me. They said they were going to help, but they didn't help me. Try us and see who we are. We see you every day. And we want to let you know that we see you. One Global Movement sees you, because all these people you see here, they go out into their communities to see what is going on. They don't just come here. They see what is going on. But it starts from the home. We believe in you. I believe in my son. That's why I'm driving to Iowa, and he knows, and it shows, and I write it, and I pray it. These children need to really feel it, not just you. I believe in you, but that your action speaks differently. We are building a world worthy of your greatness, and we are inviting all the Gen Zs here. It's going to come to a point where we will need you, your services here, and you get compensated for those services, because we need you here, not just us, because we have to learn from you too. And donors and partners are invited. They're invited. If your heart has been stirred today with this topic, if your heart has truly been stirred today, there is a place for you in this mission of One Global Movement. Because building mentally strong, emotionally grounded, purpose-driven youth requires safe learning spaces, mentorship programs, talent development, skill development, emotional health resources, empowerment workshops, educational opportunities. Why not a One Global Movement Sanctorium, where these kids who go to school to learn uh, 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 how do they call it? This preaching or to be a pastor or they learn theology, they can come here because you don't just learn those things just theory. We learn it practically in life. They can come here and then they're working too for One Global Movement, but with the intention of also establishing their own organization. We don't want people that are working without also establishing their own. Be your own person. Educational opportunities, community support, global partnerships. You can help us build these spaces. You can help us protect this generation. You can help us rewrite their future stories. Your support is not an act of charity. We're not talking here. Global Movement is not a charity organization. Okay, they might name it, put it in that category according to the law, but we are not. It is an investment into the minds and hearts and destinies of tomorrow's leaders who are the Generation Z, but doing so with authenticity. Together, we can help Generation Z rise above digital chaos and discover the authenticity that leads to greatness. And in closing, my own closing declaration, rising into the new year. We are rising into the new year. As this year ends and a new one begins pretty soon, One Global Movement makes this declaration. We will not let a generation drown in noise. We will give them identity. We will not give them, we will give them hope, not hopelessness. We will give them purpose. We will give them tools for resilience. We will give them a voice that cannot be silenced. Our hearts are awake. Our hands are engaged. Our mission is very clear. Our courage is rising. Together, together we soar higher in 2026 with authenticity, compassion, and unstoppable purpose. Thank you guys so much for listening. Sister, I will pass it on to you. And when you're done, maybe when you speak, please, you just give us the conclusion so that we can just say bye-bye to everyone here so that I can start
Yes,
driving.
yes, sister, I understand because we've already gone over the time that you're establishing. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's now, what is it, 40? So I don't know whether you're planning to say hello to the people, to the
No, just say
attendants.
hello. You can say hello to everyone. So there's no need to read the comments here today, please. We
Okay.
because we're driving, so
Yeah.
we just say hello to everyone.
All right. So I just want to two things. Remember this statement from the saying from William Shakespeare. That's as back to your point where it says, "All the world is a stage." And sure, we've been given a stage, but not a stage to copy one another. He says we all have our parts to play, right?
Mhm.
So whether it's on social media or in the real world, that is what he meant. Yes, we are on the world stage. We come with a purpose, and we have to do that, perform that's to, but not perform for other people. That's not
Mm.
what we came for.
Yep.
So when we're talking about identity, that's exactly what he said. All the world is a stage, yes, and we come on it and we do our part, and then we exit because that is true of life. We
Mm.
come, we fulfill our purpose, and we go. And then another thing about this, the pressure from social media and the Gen Zers, we also have to remind them that it's okay to step back. Social media is not your driving force, as you said. It's just part of what you can use to expose or to promote your purpose. It's a tool, right? And we should do that ourselves. It's called social media detoxing because we have a name for everything now. Yes, okay. Take a break. You don't live there. It's not a home. It's
Mhm.
just somewhere you go to see what's new and how you can help somebody else because lots of people are crying out for help. Some people don't even know how to get off it. It's so habit forming. And if you give them something else, like tell them to come here,
Mhm.
right? So support something that's real, that's hands on, that you can see. Your whole life is not on social media. But we have to also show that, because some adults, older adults, are just as bad with social media. They never stop scrolling,
Mhm.
right? So I think this is something we can offer our young people, our Gen Z and our Gen Alphas and whatever will come behind that, is that you run your life with the direction of the creator, right? Nobody else should be doing that. Not parents, not friends. Let's determine what your purpose needs and fulfill that however you can in a very authentic way. And that's where authenticity comes in. Not be pressured, just doing what you need to fulfill your purpose. So thank you, sister. That's my
Thank you.
closing.
That's our conclusion for today. Thank you guys for letting me off the hook, and happy holidays again. And we'll meet here next week. We're going to, like we said at the beginning, we're going to be doing this for 30 minutes moving forward. Hopefully, I went a little bit over, but we're going to divide this topic so that we can move 30 minutes so that we don't pressure them to watch the whole thing so they can be able to understand as well. So thank you guys so much. Until next week.
Thank
Bye
you,
bye.
everyone. Thank you for your support all week. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Yes, we love you. Bye.